The Tesla trunk horror. The disturbing death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Welcome back to Unveiled Truth, Crime Tales, the channel where we uncover the most disturbing, mysterious, and shocking true crime stories from around the world. Today's case is one that left seasoned investigators shaken. A luxury vehicle abandoned on a quiet Hollywood street. A strange odor noticed days later. And inside the front trunk of a Tesla, investigators would uncover a discovery so disturbing that it immediately launched a grand jury investigation. This is the tragic story of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, a 14-year-old girl whose disappearance would lead detectives to a gruesome discovery in the Hollywood Hills. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to Unveiled Truth, Crime Tales, and turn on notifications so you never miss our deep dives into the world's most chilling crimes. Now, let's begin. On September 8, 2025, a routine call came into the Los Angeles Police Department. The call wasn't about a violent crime or a reported disappearance. Instead, it came from a tow yard manager in Hollywood. Several days earlier, a black Tesla Model X had been impounded after being reported abandoned on Bluebird Street in the Hollywood Hills. At first, nothing about the vehicle seemed unusual. But after sitting in the impound lot for days, employees noticed something disturbing. A strong odor of decay was coming from the vehicle. Flies had begun gathering around it. The smell had become so overpowering that the tow yard manager decided to contact the police. When LAPD detectives arrived at the impound lot, they immediately noticed the same thing. The smell was unmistakable. Investigators described it as the odor of decomposing biological material, something detectives unfortunately learned to recognize during their careers. The scent appeared to be coming from the front storage compartment of the Tesla, commonly called the frunk. What they would soon discover inside would confirm their worst fears. Because the vehicle had been impounded, investigators first needed a search warrant before opening the front compartment. Once the warrant was approved, detectives carefully approached the vehicle. Inside the front trunk, they saw something deeply disturbing. A black cadaver bag, covered with insects, sat inside the compartment. The smell intensified immediately as the trunk opened. Detectives put on protective gloves and slowly unzipped the bag just enough to confirm what they feared. Inside was a partially decomposed human body. But what investigators saw next made the discovery even more horrifying. The remains had been severely mutilated. According to documents later filed by prosecutors, the head and torso had been separated from the arms and legs. As detectives removed the cadaver bag, they discovered something else hidden underneath. A second black bag. Inside that bag were the remaining dismembered body parts. At that moment, the investigation transformed from a suspicious vehicle case into a full homicide investigation. The remains were transported to the Los Angeles County Department of Medical Examiner, where forensic specialists began the difficult process of identifying the victim. Eventually, investigators confirmed the tragic truth. The victim was 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Very little information was initially released about how she had ended up inside the Tesla. But investigators quickly focused their attention on one key connection. The vehicle had been registered to musician D4VD, whose real name is David Anthony Burke. According to court filings, David Anthony Burke, known professionally as D4VD, became the target of a grand jury investigation connected to the death. Prosecutors filed legal documents stating that Burke may be involved in the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez and that she may have been the victim of foul play. The investigation took a complicated turn because of Burke's location at the time. Records indicated that the musician had been touring when the Tesla was impounded. The car had actually been reported abandoned on August 26, nearly 2 weeks before the remains were discovered. That raised troubling questions. Who had access to the vehicle? How long had the remains been inside the car? And who placed them there? In November 2025, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office began presenting evidence to a grand jury at Los Angeles Superior Court. A grand jury investigation is often used in complex cases where prosecutors are determining whether enough evidence exists to file criminal charges. Investigators began piecing together timelines, witness accounts, and forensic evidence connected to the Tesla. They also sought testimony from out-of-state witnesses, suggesting that individuals outside California might have information relevant to the case. Despite the disturbing nature of the discovery, authorities remained careful about releasing details publicly while the investigation continued. The case left many unanswered questions that investigators were still trying to solve. How did Celeste Rivas Hernandez, a 14-year-old girl, end up inside a Tesla's front trunk? Who was responsible for the horrific dismemberment? Was the car used to transport the remains, or had the crime occurred somewhere else entirely? And most importantly, who was responsible for Celeste's death? For Celeste's family, the investigation represents more than just a criminal case. It represents a search for justice and answers. Cases like this remind us how quickly an ordinary day can turn into a horrifying discovery. What began as a routine call about a strange smell in an impounded vehicle revealed a crime that shocked even experienced detectives. The tragic death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez remains a deeply disturbing case, one that investigators continue to examine as they work to determine exactly what happened. And as the legal process unfolds, the world continues to watch for answers. Thank you for watching Unveiled Truth, Crime Tales. If you want more deep-dive, true crime stories like this one, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. And if this story moved you, consider sharing it so the memory of Celeste Rivas Hernandez is never forgotten. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and keep seeking the truth. Here on Unveiled Truth, Crime Tales.